All right, y'all, let's talk about this Silver Elite stuff. Yeah, so I lied. Instead of talking about Silver Elite, I'm going to spend time talking about books you should be talking about and reading instead of reading the Silver Elite. This is my book, which is a YA dystopian fantasy novel, but in this summer, a new adult dystopian fantasy novel is coming out, and it's going to be the sequel to this book. That's my book, my books in the future. Oh, and Conquer is planned to be a trilogy, by the way. And that second book and that third book are both going to be new adult dystopian fantasy books. And basically, it's about these five. First of all, they start off as teenagers, but as the series goes along, they become young adults. And it's about these teenagers that grow up in a city where they're being hunted because of the abilities they have, but they get their abilities based off of the different types of trauma they experience, right? And I mean general trauma, not black trauma. So the way they go about that, they could become anybody, villains, heroes. And then remember, we're in the context of an urban neighborhood that's not being properly funded because of this thing that happened called the Sever, where all these cities got cut off from the mainland because neo-humans started popping up. Next series I want to talk about is the War Girls duology, and this is a sci-fi dystopian, adult sci-fi dystopian duology where basically, so it talks about climate change, and it also talks about the R word, RACISM. TikTok will shadow ban me if I say that word. And it takes place in futuristic Nigeria. And it's about these girls that are on a camp where they're trying to survive on their planet, while meanwhile all these what's went up into space at a space station while their planet is dying, and they're trying to salvage what they have. There's also like wars going on between the other countries in Africa as well while they're trying to protect themselves. These two sisters are trying to protect each other. So yeah, that's why she has a middle arm. And I don't know if you can see her tech behind her ear, but she has something behind her ear. I forget what it's called. I haven't read this series in a while. This is an ongoing fantasy series about these fantastical tree people that live underground with like the roots of the trees. And basically, they're trying to save the trees, save the forest, right? Because if the trees burn, their home burns, right? So we have a sister and a brother who's separated because of this huge forest fire, and they both view humanity very differently because of the way they treat nature and forest. And yeah, so this is talking about forest fires and how it harms the environment through the lens of fantasy. And this is an adult fantasy series, and it's ongoing, so it's not completed yet. Also, for all my romanticy girlies that like romance and spice and all that, this is a great fantasy romance series, I would call it, where you have the romance and you have the spice, but it's actually talking about something it's actually talking about dystopia in a meaningful way through the lens of fantasy and through the lens of